Hello, my name is Martyr, and this is Let's Play Pixel Heroes Byte and Magic, and thank you for watching. Pixel Heroes is a turn-based RPG, guys, with roguelite or roguelike elements, whatever term you prefer. Don't get angry at me, alright? The game is all about old school adventuring, guys, and of course pixel adorable graphics, guys. It released on Steam February 2015. Pixel Heroes was developed by the Bitfather and published by Headup Games. You can go ahead and get Pixel Heroes for the first week sale price of $8.49 or $9.99 normally, which I think is actually a really good price for the amount of gameplay you're going to get out of this game, guys. I've been playing it already for like 100 hours, and I've barely, not 100 hours, Jesus, 100 minutes. If I was playing it for 100 hours, I've had the game for a long time. 100 minutes, and I barely kind of scratched the surface, I feel, of all the dungeons and perhaps everything the game has to offer. But yeah, it's a really cool game, guys. And like I said, it's all about old school adventuring, but it's like you're kind of on train tracks. You're on train tracks of adventuring. And I don't mean that in a derisive or bad way, but you're kind of being just pushed forward at all times, and then you loop around, let's say like back to town. You're always constantly going to be moving forward, though. You'll see what I mean in a bit. We're going to go ahead and check out some of the options and all that good kind of stuff and all these different buttons here. Now, because it is a, pixel graphic game, there really isn't much to speak of, graphically speaking. There isn't much manipulation of resolution. You got full screen and window. That's about it. You got, some control of the music and sound effects. That's about it. It also comes in Dutch, which I think is pretty awesome. I don't know why it's specifically Dutch, which I'm assuming that's Dutch. Yeah, that's Dutch. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It has a second language there. Let's talk about all these other buttons here. We got the graveyard. Graveyard is like an area that you can go to see what happened to a former party that you once had. So as you can see, I actually played another game beforehand and I got a party completely wiped. It was an accident. There was a box and I tried to forcibly open it and things didn't go well, so I got an entire party murdered. And you can look at their stats and see what items they had or what was good for them, what worked, etc., etc. And it gives you like a little statistical information about their characters and what they managed to accomplish in what particular campaign. And then you could just have like a collection of all the dead heroes or dead parties that you've had pretty much throughout your entire history of your game, which is pretty cool. I like that feature. I think it's kind of adorable and neat. The game does feature a mega crap ton, and I do mean a mega crap ton of features, guys. Steam achievements, Steam cards, all there for you to enjoy, guys. There's just a lot of stuff for you to check out here. These are the different people in the game that all offer different quests, I'm guessing. And depending on how many times you accomplish their quest, I'm guessing their happiness rating goes up. Or maybe if you accomplish their quest per campaign, it makes them happier. I'm not 100% sure. The only person I've managed to make slightly happier is Lily up to this point. As you can see, this is the kind of representative of each campaign. So Fools of Radiance, by the way, huge shout out to old games. Fools of Radiance. Pools of Radiance, come on! I played that game for like hours when I was a kid. I sucked at it, but it was great. Fear and Loathing in Pixton and Stairway to Hell. These are all three different campaigns. And what's cool about that is that even though they represent the different difficulties in the game as well, each of them has a different ending, a different dungeon, and a different boss per difficulty, basically per campaign, which I think is really, really cool. I like that aspect of things, that it's not always the same game as you get higher and higher difficulties. I like that a lot. You also, of course, have a lot of hero classes, of course. A total of 30 classes, it says on the Steam page. I haven't unlocked them all. As you can see, I haven't managed to unlock the Shadow Mancer, though. This is one of those things I was like, okay, this is really cool. I like the fact that I can see them, but I also wish to, I hope there's some that are just kind of hidden and surprise me, and will kind of just jump out, and they won't be on this list and they'll appear. Because, I don't want to spoil everything for myself. I want to be surprised. And of course you have a schmuck ton of achievements here for you to unlock, guys. So that's the achievements. I don't think there really is much more to say about that. We're going to continue, and then we're going to hit new game because I want to show off the new game features. Because I think the party creation system in this game is actually kind of really awesome, really fun, and really entertaining. But I kind of also want to show you a little bit more deeper core gameplay. So this is the town, by the way. And as far as controls go, it's completely keyboard and mouse, or actually mostly mouse. You're not going to be playing the game much. There's no controller support or anything of that sorts. So this is the town. This is kind of like your hub place. This is where you go back to shop and, sell items or resurrect dead party members or drink or play at the casino, which I can't figure out how to open. Which, this is the tavern. This is actually where you kind of start the game out often. You can pick like your party members. There's a band from Star Wars, except they're humans and dwarves. You can drink some stuff, which I really don't know what that does. Let's drink some absinthe. I'm kind of curious. I'll just drink 20 absinthe. Nothing? I'm not really sure what that's all about. Maybe your character's just alcoholics. Who knows? But I spent some money on that. So the tavern basically is kind of where you pick your party first off and foremost. And then you basically walk through town. You can talk to different characters, like, for instance, Mustachio or Hornig. And I guess you saw these characters in that other screen. You can see that their happiness rating. So I'll talk to Sapphire. You can see she's very upset. What do you want? Are you trying to make fun of my ears? I wouldn't try that if I were you. I've had it with you. And she'll offer you a quest maybe. Or all kind of randomly generates a quest per character. Like the first party I had, we actually got a quest from this dorky looking dude over here. Cooper. Oh gosh dang, I didn't mean to do that. Heroes of the past, sunken empire. Something's bothering me. I hope you are willing to help an old woman. When I was young, I too traveled to many dungeons with my old friends. Sadly, one of them, Gerald, died while we were fighting the boss. Do you think you can bring home his remains so I can give him a proper burial? I didn't actually need to click on this lady. Basically, kind of like, MMORPG style. You see characters with exclamation points, which, by the way, it's hilarious. They're selling exclamation points on the right side of town right there. So we'll go ahead and accept that quest with help. And then that kind of puts us on a train track to that dungeon. We can't pick another quest now. We are on this quest. We have to beat this quest before we can do any other quest. So if there was anybody else offering a quest in town, which you might occasionally run into, you will have to choose which quest to do first. Like I think Mustachio had a quest, and then she had a quest. I chose her quest. Mostly by accident, but you get the basic idea. So Cooper basically, in my first party, had a quest for me, and I did it for him, and then they all died, basically. So it kind of randomly chooses who has the quest to start off with. It's not always the exact same. It just kind of randomly throws you into a dungeon. Of course, there is a shop here. You can buy items. I probably should show you the inventory screen and also talk to you about what these other buttons are right here. Well, one of these buttons, which is this one is the quest guide. This tells you which quest you're on. Also gives you information about your heroes right here. So I have Choppy, Emerald, and Patrice, which Patrice has a mighty fine beard there. Patrice is a dwarf herbalist, which is kind of like a healer. Emerald is a skyborn rogue, and Choppy is a dwarf fighter. I kind of went for a healer, damage dealer, defender type of setup in my head. It worked out pretty well for the first two dungeons, actually. He gives you some statistics. This is kind of the heart and soul of this game, though, where you're going to be kind of looking at things for most of the time. Is this particular screen right here, which has a lot of information on. So on the top right, you have your stats, which you will be improving, of course, as your characters level up, which you have life, intelligence, faith, dex, and strength. Think D&D, and you kind of get a basic idea of what each of these stats does. Life is probably the most important stat because that represents your hit points. But each stat kind of represents a particular class. Dex is more for ranged shooters or, sneaky rogues. Strength is for, people who want to do physical damage. Faith is for healers, and intelligence is for casters. To the left of that, you have the basically the kind of the status of each character, how long it takes them to level up, what bonuses or immunities they have. So, like, she has a protection against fire at 50%. And a protection from getting her defense down. And I will say that, well, there is like a help option here that really does an explanation of what each status effect is or what elements or what. It kind of lets you figure it out for yourself. It really, there is absolutely zero tutorial. It's just like, get a party, go. Figure it out as you go, man. Which, is fine. I just wish there was a little bit more explanation of, like, how, like, weapon damage works. Like, for instance, weapon damage is the most strangest thing in the world. So when you have a weapon like Firebane, for instance, it has a range of 1 to 2, so it means it can hit just about anybody. It does magical damage, also water damage. I'm guessing that's water, right? See, even I don't know. I'm thinking Leviathan, it's water damage. Okay. And then it does a natural 10 damage plus 10% of your strength damage, which is that sword represented there. That goes up by increasing your strength stat, plus 75% of your range stat, plus 25% of your magical stat. So it's just a very strange system of how the damage works. And I didn't know that at first. I was like, what the hell? How do I determine which does more damage? Because I was like noticing that there's the exact number right here, which is by 48 magical, is an exact representation of how much damage it's going to do. At least I don't think it is. I could be wrong about that. But I noticed there's kind of variances occasionally. You can also hit this button here, and it gives you a explanation of what those items are. And there's a lot of different kinds of items. As a matter of fact, I feel like there may be sometimes a little too many items. Yes, you get a mega crap ton of loot in this game, guys, and that is fantastic. But you find yourself kind of managing your items a lot in this game. So if you're not a fan of item management and looking at each, item, what each member has, checking out each stat and making sure that you have all your gear optimized, then you will get slightly perturbed by that. As a matter of fact, I wish there was kind of like an optimize button. I wish there was like a button that you could just hit and optimize it. But again, it's kind of showing off old school style mechanics, how things work. The bottom left right here is what your character's currently wearing, and of course this is your inventory right there on the bottom right. And that kind of covers the inventory screen. So we're going to actually get into an adventure now, guys. The temple sells potions, and you can revive your characters after an adventure. Because there is a form of permadeath in this game, but you have to complete the entire dungeon. Once you leave town, you are on the train track. You have to complete that dungeon, and if somebody dies in the middle of that dungeon, doesn't matter, you have to complete that dungeon before you can come back and revive them. And then you even have to have the gold to revive them. The library sells books, which basically are like magical spells. I already talked about the temple, and I have no idea what the bank/casino does. So we're going to leave. All right, I have too many items. Gosh dang it. You obviously have a maximum inventory space. I should probably sell some stuff. So let's just go back to really quick town. I'm just going to sell all my crap really quick. For gold. Come here. Blacksmith. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to sell it all. I don't really care. No. Sell it. There you go. Sell it. Sell it. I will say that the starting gear that your character start off with is really pretty powerful, pretty valuable. And I would suggest studying each item kind of extensively before making a decision as to if you want to sell it or not. Because you could be making a horrible mistake. God knows I have. Okay, so this is 639. How much is this? 414, but that does less damage, doesn't it? I just, like, this is where it confuses me. Like, so is this like 64 physical? I don't care. So let's leave town. And this is where you get into the nitty gritty of the game. You start traveling to the dungeon that your quest is at. Along the way, you're going to run into random events, which is one of my favorite parts of the game because, matter of fact, I wish there was more random events. I wish there was like double the amount, or just maybe a way to just kind of wander around the world and just kind of deal with these random events. I really enjoyed this aspect to the game, was the random events. So for instance, you see a young adventurer standing at the side of the road. Good day to you. You seem like a capable group of heroes. Would you mind helping me out? I have to hunt down a troll for my quest, and the rest of my group has been knocked unconscious. We're going to help him. Great, I knew you had it in you. Be careful, he can regenerate. So I guess we're going to fight this guy's troll now. Well, trolls usually are vulnerable to fire. So I'm going to start off with my character's fire spell. Let's talk about what you're looking at first and foremost. Again, you have most of the buttons that you had last time, showing your quest, your help log. I don't remember what this one is. Are you sure that you want to permanently throw this away? No. You don't want to throw away an item. Bad. Also a log here. A pause button if you want to save and exit, which is really nice actually. Because you can't continue with one party for a really long time. You're not going to be switching through parties all too fast. I would say you probably have your party about the same amount of length, maybe to 2 to 3 hours. Probably like an FTL game. If you suck, though, you might die more. So on the left here, we have two options here. We have our items, and then we have our skills. Skills take time to kind of refresh. So if I were to use a skill, it would have to wait a certain amount of actions between my characters and their characters before I could use it again. So like I could use backstab, but then I would have to wait 18 actions to use it again. It also explains what each thing does on the right here, but most of the time you're going to be using your items mostly, which could be either a mixture of books or bows or whatever have you. So I'm going to light that dude on fire. That should hit him in the troll. Oh, you know what? I thought for sure. Come on, trolls and fire. Am I not thinking standard, stereotypical the fantasy here, guys? I guess I'm not. He regenerates, but he's not vulnerable to fire. Boo. He's using trolling. Bad troll. I'm going to use my giant club. That's going to lower his defense, because that's what one of the magical properties of that particular club is. And then he's going to shoot him with his magical crossbow and do a schmutt ton of damage. He's using more trolling. He's not bleeding. And there's a whole lot of status effects in this game, from bleeding to poisoning to on fire to this whole bunch of. It's not his attack anymore. Let's go with the club again. Nice club. He's dead. Dead troll. That was easy. Is there more? Oh, there's like a tiny little rat. Creeper crawler uses pinch. You little bastard. What the hell? Take that. Well, he's ineffective. I guess he's resistant to water attacks, which is what that particular bow does. And that's kind of how combat works, by the way. It's very turn-based. You do attacks, they do attacks, but you can't use the same hero twice. You have to use a additional hero per like attack. So if my thief were to attack first, then I'd have to use either my fighter or my healer, and then my rogue can attack again. You get the basic idea of how that works. As you can see, we got a schmutt load of loot. And loot, again, is all very randomized. Wow, that's a great item. Resistance to bleeding and fire attacks. That's awesome. You get a schmutt load of items, and some of them are just kind of random. It's like you're playing Diablo all over again, because you just get crap sometimes. And there really is no way to sell it before a dungeon begins, or there's no way to sell it in the middle of a dungeon, for instance. So most of the time, you just end up grabbing it and throwing it away. Like I said, it's just, I would prefer to get less items and more meaningful items, but that's just a minor complaint. It's not that big a deal. So again, we ran into that random event. You'll run into other random events. A kitty! Meow. There's a lonely cat sitting by the road. Its fur is covered in dirt. Oh, the cat doesn't even bother by your presence at all. Offer some milk. Pet the cat. Offer some milk! One of your heroes offers some milk to the cat. Purr. The cat looks satisfied and walks away. Huzzah! We did something nice. We're gonna continue. We don't need to open our inventory. You're like, yes, we helped a kitty. We should have petted it and taken it, but I don't know. What the hell is this guy doing? You see an angry-looking guy. He's wearing a white shirt with a pocket pouch full of pens. Oh my god, is he the angry nerd? It's the angry nerd! Great, now I'm inside a shitty game. Look at the graphics. I don't even have a mouth. Am I not supposed to look angry? What a bleeping piece of bleeping bleep. And the music, isn't this the bleeping thing you ever heard? Like how slow you move. I'm just waiting to arrive at the damn dungeon. Come on, move your ass. What were they thinking? I disagree. I think the game moves along at a great pace, and I love the graphics. I love pixel graphics. I think each character is stylized, really adorable looking, and I can't wait to see all the heroes. I really can't wait to show you the tavern here, which we're going to do once we get to the dungeon, so I'm going to actually skip all this dialogue. I never played this game, so I'm going to say that one. Correct. I don't know. He's talking a lot, so I'm going to skip all this. We got something from him, I guess. We got a lot of money and experience. And we met the Angry Nerd, which is pretty freaking sweet. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of, shout-outs to other games. Pool of Radiance, for God's sakes. I mean, I didn't even remember. I'm surprised anybody even remembers that game. So if we've reached our destination, we got some level up, so I'm going to just go ahead and drop that into Dex and Dex. And Faith and Faith. Okay, so we're going to go into the dungeon now. And this is how the dungeon works, basically. You go through 7 rooms and then you face the boss. Again, my thing about train tracks, basically you are stuck on this one path all the way to the end, and then you go back to town, face the boss, then face another random 3 events, and then you head back to town. So you kind of get the idea of how the flow of the game works. Like I said, there's just a lot of item management. So I'm going to go ahead and actually... I'm going to save and exit. I'm actually going to sacrifice this particular party because I want to show you guys what it's like to make characters. Again, there's 3 different kinds of difficulty here, each offering their own kind of end game, their own end boss, their own end dungeon, and the game gets harder and harder, which I think the game's pretty difficult. So when you basically arrive at the tavern, you can actually choose your heroes, and you can actually re-roll your heroes, which is actually kind of another shout out to older games, which I really, really liked. So we can be like, okay, well, I want Dalebin the human, and then it offers like this awesome, amazing, kind of randomly generated description of what that character is. So in his youth, he made extra money by winning a breath-holding contest plus life. He prayed for a rain yesterday. It rained plus faith. So what that, by the way, that's basically saying, when it says life plus or faith plus, it basically is telling you how many extra points he's going to get from that stat. So if you have a character who's a warrior and has a plus strength and a plus strength, that's a great character to have, because that means every point you put into strength, he's going to get more out of it, which is really sweet. And then it gives a little bit of a background. Supposedly his mother was a revered ugly unicorn tamer. He is sexually attracted to green swords. He associated shabby volcanoes with witchcraft because of his childhood. He once had an argument with a miniature hydra. So that guy might be kind of freaking crazy. This is a character class I unlocked. I haven't actually seen this one. Dexter and Conceal. What the hell? Dexter? Alright. As a child, he claimed he could talk to spirits. +1 to faith. His diet is rich in antioxidants. Plus the life. The Stale Mushroom is his favorite book. He once fell in love with a dirty inn. He sometimes feeds his friendly dog with a green spell when nobody's watching. His ex got a restraining order because of his enormous scorpion. Wow. Again, all those descriptions are kind of just randomly generated, but they're really fun to read, and I enjoy that little, aspect of things. If you didn't like this particular stuff, you're like, okay, I don't want, Cornelius the Human Priest. I don't want Copy the Halfling Wolf Rider. I don't want Demas Dwarf Herbalist. I can say, well, I'm going to re-roll, and then it's going to take all those heroes, switch them out. Well, you might get some of the same heroes, but it's going to get completely randomized. Their stats are going to get new characters. Some of them might be the same class, but you get the basic idea. So we got, we'll take Bill Wiz here, sure. And then we'll take her, sure. This is probably not a good team, but, whatever, I don't care. And then we'll take him, sure. No. Him, sure. And then we can go, okay, go. And it kicks out all the other party members. And then you basically go get a quest in town and go from there, guys. And that's kind of how Pixel Heroes works in a nutshell, guys. That's basically the entire game right there. Adorable pixel graphics. It's a fun game, guys. Has lots of item management. I will say that much. But if you don't mind that type of thing, it's a really fun game. Again, I have no idea who this guy is. His name is Captain Capslock. I guess he's going to talk in all caps lock, which is going to be really annoying. And again, just all the characters are kind of randomly generated in town. You never know which quest you're going to get, which adds a little bit of, flavor to things. You never know what's going to happen, and each adventure is unique. And I like that aspect to it. I would love to know what the hell is inside the casino, though. Is it open? Please, we're back business. Come back later. Okay, whatever. We could also get a mushroom. We can get a quest from Shroom there, who looks very, very familiar. So yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video, but I think you've gotten a good impression of the game. I haven't ran into any bugs at all. It's very well made. All the elements in the game work very well. I just, like I said a little bit earlier, wish there was a little bit of a teeny tiny bit better of a tutorial explaining how certain items or certain stats work. But, it's not that hard to figure it out. You just kind of look for the information and then kind of noodle it and put 2 and 2 together. You have 30 classes, 3 difficulties with each their own different dungeons and bosses and endings, 13 different dungeons, random events, and shit tons of loot, guys. As far as replay value goes, like I said, because of the price, which is only $9.99 when it's on sale, you're gonna get a lot out of this game. I think doing all the difficulties, doing all the dungeons, unlocking all the classes, getting all the achievements, you have a lot of stuff you can get here. It's going to take you quite a while to get done, guys. So I think it has a lot of replay value, and I enjoy that quite a bit. So big thanks to the developer and publisher for a chance to check out this title. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and share, and I'll keep bringing you awesome indie games, guys. If you really enjoyed this video, maybe consider hitting up that tip jar. If you're feeling generous of heart, all tips go to improving the channel or future giveaways. Till next time, guys, play more indie games.